وعلى محمد صلوات. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, if I can humbly request everyone to please congregate in the masjid as program is about to start. And if I can also request all my brothers and sisters to please take a moment and make sure your cell phones are on a silent mode. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I begin in the name of Allah, the most beneficent and merciful. All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for blessing us with existence and granting us the opportunity to move towards Him. Respected ulama, dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Adamallahu ujurana wa ujurakum bimusabina bil Husayn alayhi salam. Waja'allana wa iyyakum min at-talibina bi sarihi ma'a. Waliyahil imam al-mahdi min ali Muhammad alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, today we're holding the fifth and the final majlis of the series of 5 majalis to commemorate the chehlam of our Mazloom Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, who was martyred along with his family and companions in Karbala. With this, we continue this journey of azadari and grief as we offer pursa to Bibi Sayyida Fatima salamullah alayha. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward us all for our efforts, inshallah. Agenda for today's program is we'll have the recitation of Salam and Marsiya by Brother Sajjad Zaidi. We'll start the program with that, followed by a speech by Hujjatul Islam, Maulana Muslim Mehdi Chawla. And finally, we have a ziyarat of Arbaeen recited by Hujjatul Islam, Maulana Rizwan Rastu, inshallah. So at this moment, I would like to request Brother Sajjad Zaidi to please come forward and offer pursa to Bibi Sayyida Fatima salamullah alayha. Please welcome him with a loud salawat.
درود بڑھی محمد والے محمد پر. اللہم ایک دفعہ اور درود پڑھ دیجیے محمد والے محمد پر. اللہم I will inshallah recite a source that is the kalam of Payam Azmi. And inshallah, it is in the remembrance of all Ahlul Bayt, especially Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Durud padhiye Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. اسلام مصطفیٰ کی جلالت کا نام ہے. اسلام بو تراب کی قوت کا نام ہے. اسلام فاطمہ کی طہارت کا نام ہے. اسلام اہل بیت کی عظمت کا نام ہے اسلام اہل بیت کی عظمت کا نام ہے اسلام دل ہے فاتح بدر و حنین کا اسلام کی رگوں میں لہو ہے حسین کا اسلام کی رگوں میں لہو ہے حسین کا درود پڑھیے محمد وعلى محمد بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. Please recite another loud salawat. This is a salam which was recited by Asad Jahan, very famous reciter, son of Nasir Jahan, who we are all very familiar with. I'm going to try to recite this inshallah with your help. Please recite another loud salawat. نہ منزلیں ہیں نہ رستہ حسین سے آگے نہ منزلیں ہیں نہ رستہ حسین سے آگے نہیں وجود کسی کا حسین سے آگے صراط عشق پا قربانیوں کی منزل میں صراط عشق پا قربانیوں کی منزل میں کوئی نظر نہیں آتا حسین سے آگے کوئی نظر نہیں آتا حسین سے آگے ملے جو پر تو یہ کہتا ہوا اڑا فطر سے ملے جو پر تو یہ کہتا ہوا اڑا فطر سے نہیں ہے کوئی مسیحا حسین سے آگے نہیں ہے کوئی مسیحا مسیحا حسین سے آگے. پسر حسین نے بچپن میں بخشے راہب کو. پسر حسین نے بچپن میں بخشے راہب کو. نصیب جا نہیں سکتا حسین سے آگے. نصیب جا نہیں سکتا حسین سے آگے. اور یہ حاصل کلام آخری شعر ہے اس کا. پڑھی غلاموں نے ایسے نماز حفظ امام. پڑھی غلاموں نے ایسے نماز حفظ امام. رکھا گیا سر و سینہ حسین سے آگے. رکھا گیا سر و سینہ حسین سے آگے. نہ منزلیں ہیں نہ رستہ حسین سے آگے. درود پڑھیے محمد و آل محمد. فاتحہ. بسم اللہ. جو کلام میں پڑھ رہا ہوں میری خواہش ہے کہ آپ سب بھی اس میں میرا ساتھ دیجیے گا. آپ سب کا سنا ہوا کلام ہے اور اس میں امام حسین کا تذکرہ ہے اور کربلا کے کچھ واقعات کو شاید میں بیان کرنے کی کوشش کیجیے. ایک دفعہ درود پڑھیے محمد و آل محمد. حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین حسین الشہید شہید الحسین حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین حسین شہید شہید الحسین حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین حسین شہید شہید. دہائی دہائی خدایا دہائی یہ دشت بلا میں ہے کیسی تباہی. بہایا ہے کس نے یہ خون محمد. قیامت یہ ڈھائی ہے کس نے الہی. جوانوں بزرگوں کو مارا گیا ہے شہیدوں میں شامل ہے ننھا سپاہی حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین حسین الشہید شہید الحسین حسین 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 الشہید کیا جشن برپا یوں اہل حوث نے شہیدوں کے لاشوں پہ ڈنکے بجائے جلا ڈالے آل محمد کے خیمے سکینہ کے منہ پر تماچے لگائے جو بیمار تھا اس کا بستر نہ چھوڑا نبی زادیوں پر بھی درے چلائے حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین حسین شہید شہید الحسین حسین الغریب حسین تڑپ کر اٹھی اپنے مرقد سے بنت محمد سیاہ شب کی چادر میں چہرہ چھپا کر گئی کربلا میں تو اس نے یہ دیکھا ہے بوسیدہ کرتے میں ایک لاش بے سر بدن سارا تیروں سے چھلنی پڑا ہے لہو میں ہے ڈوبا ہوا سارا پیکر حسین الغریب الغریب الحسین حسین الشہید شہید الحسین حسین 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 تڑپ کر وہ چلائی شبیر بیٹا لہو میں نہائے ہو سر بھی جدا ہے تبر کس نے مارے ہیں سارے بدن پر یہ تیروں پہ کس نے جنازہ رکھا ہے کہاں ہے میرا لال عباس بولو میں پوچھوں گی اس سے یہ کیسے ہوا ہے حسین الغریب الحسین حسین شہید شہید الحسین حسین حسین صدا سن کے زہرا کی تھرائے غازی جدا سر سے تن تھا تو شانے کٹے تھے غم و یاس و حسرت میں مغموم مضطر کہے کیا کہ دریا کنارے پڑے تھے سوئے القما اب جو بی بی نے دیکھا وفاؤں کے ساحل پہ جھنڈے گڑے تھے حسین الغریب الحسین حسین عید الحسین حسین حسین ادھر درد و غم کی ستائی تھی زینب جو وحشت کے جنگل میں حیدر بنی تھی کبھی خاک اڑاتی کبھی اشک پیتی جو کنبے کے پہرے پہ تنہا کھڑی تھی سکینہ کے سقا کو آواز دے کر غم شاہدی میں بقا کر رہی تھی حسین 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 شہید الحسین حسین الغریب الحسین حسین شہید حسین صلوات پڑھیے
جزاک اللہ سجاد زیدی بھائی. May Ahl al-Bayt alayhi salam accept your pursa. For his sehat and salamati, please recite a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward us all for our efforts, inshallah. Brothers and sisters, just a couple of announcements and then inshallah I'll invite Maulana to address the Majlis. Sisters Majlis will take place on Saturday at 11 a.m. These Majalis are being addressed by Sister Maryam Ali Tahir, and these will continue until Saturday, September 23rd, inshallah. Muharram Safar weekend Majalis will continue this weekend with Maghrib and Isha prayers at 7:27 p.m. And these Majalis will be addressed by Hujjatul Islam Maulana Amin Rastani, inshallah. Mehdi Youth will be hosting a discussion with Sheikh Amin Rastani after the conclusion of Majlis on Saturday. Please join us upstairs in the Sunday school foyer on September 9th, Saturday. Registration is required. For that, please visit our website. Back school Arbaeen food drive has been going on. Please contribute with the non-perishable food and personal hygiene items. The boxes are located by the main entrance, and the last day to contribute is September 17th. Today's Majlis is sponsored by a respected family of our community who would like to remain anonymous. Keeping their intention in mind, please recite a loud salawat for continued blessings in their life. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Let's recite a Surah Fatiha for the Isal Sawab of this family's marhumeen and for your marhumeen and for all marhum mu'mineen and mu'minat preceded by a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Bismillah. ہزار سجدے زمین حرم پہ ہوں لیکن ہزار سجدے زمین حرم پہ ہوں لیکن حاصل روح عبادت نہیں تو کچھ بھی نہیں. بتا دیا ہے نبی کے طویل سجدے نے بتا دیا ہے نبی کے طویل سجدے نے हुसैन तुझसे मोहब्बत नहीं तो कुछ भी नहीं. I now request Hujjatul Islam Maulana Muslim Mehdi Chawla to please come forward and address the community. Please welcome him with a loud salawat. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali
MashaAllah, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-ali al-azim. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel, ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله مالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح فالق الإصباح ديان الدين رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك ولم يكن له ولي من الذل وكبره تكبيرا. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. اللهم صل ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على النبي الأمي المكي المدني سيدنا ومولانا ومولى الثقلين بالقاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الغر الميامين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. ولعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم من حين عداوتهم إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله الحكيم في كتابه الكريم وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولا يحسبن الذين كفروا أنما نملي لهم خير لأنفسهم إنما نملي لهم ليزدادوا إثما ولهم عذاب مهين. آمنا بالله وصدق الله العلي العظيم. Honorable ulama, respected elders, my dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On this day of Arbaeen, as our hearts are geared towards our master, Imam Sayyid al-Shuhada, and the women folk of the family of the Prophet of Islam who were taken as captives, who were paraded through the cities of Kufa and Sham in chains and shackles. Let's begin with sending our salams to our master, the chief of the martyrs, and other companions of Karbala. While having this dua, inshallah, may Allah bless us with the opportunity to recite this salam while standing in front of the sacred grave of our master Imam Hussein, inshallah. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد منا لزيارتكم. All together. السلام على الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحابه. السلام عليكم جميع الشهداء كربلاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. For the purification of your hearts, for the enlightenment of our souls, for the forgiveness of our sins, and for the hastening in reappearance of our Imam, please recite a loud salawat. Brothers and sisters, on contrary to the format which we had during our past 4 discussions, today I would like to begin by remembering that beloved young girl to Imam Sayyid al-Shuhada. To say some musibah in English, as well as we do not get a chance in the format to speak the musibah in English, just to relate ourselves more with Ahlul Bayt and to have that sanctity and connection right in the beginning, especially on this day of Arbaeen. Because when we speak about that young girl who was among the children in the family of Imam Sayyid al-Shuhada on the plains of Karbala, the atrocity of the children was that difficult that it made a person like Hur to make his decision of leaving the camp of Yazid. As it is said that when on the eve of Ashura, Hur was inquired that, I can see you are trembling, you are shaking, and if someone would ask me who is the bravest person, and without a shadow of doubt I would say Hur. But why you are shaking? Is there any fear? Hur says, yes. إني أخير نفسي بين الجنة والنار. Yes, there is a fear of hellfire. But in addition to that, which is keeping me worried about, is the calls of the children from the camps of Imam Hussein. When due to thirst, they say Al-Atash, Al-Atash. Among those children, our master, our 5th Imam is. And among those children, there is a beloved daughter to Hussein, and it is said that on the day of Ashura, when Imam Sayyid al-Shuhada bid his final farewell with the family members, and as he was left alone by himself on the plains of Karbala, he comes out, looks right, and looks left, and says, Hal min nasir yansuruna. No one is there to respond back to the call of Imam Hussein. Goes inside the tent, bid farewell with his sister by saying, O Zainab, now you are the chief of this mission. And Sayyidah Zainab would say, Oh my brother, who you are going to leave us with? And Imam says, Zainab, now you are the leader. You are Sharikatul Hussein. In few moments, Imam would leave the tent, came outside, mounted on his steed, and wanted to proceed towards the battlefield. But the horse is not moving forward. Imam is speaking to his own steed out of affection by saying, "Oh, my loyal steed, I know you must be tired like me. Since morning you have gone to the battlefield for many times, but I promise you this would be the last time you are taking me to the battlefield." But still horse is not moving, and as pointing towards the hooves and the legs, Imam Sayyid al-Shuhada looks at the legs of that horse, sees that young girl is holding the legs of the horse by saying, "Ya Jawad Abi, oh the horse of my father, do not take my father to the battlefield." As anyone who has gone to the battlefield has not returned back. Imam looks at that young girl, says, "Now this is the time to depart from the tents," says, "Astaslamta lil maut, oh my father, have you decided to offer your life?" Imam says, "Yes, it is the decree of Allah." Says, "Oh my father, can you fulfill one last wish?" A father can imagine how a young daughter would ask for a wish in that state. "Yes, my daughter." "Oh father, dismount of the steed." Imam Hussein comes down from the horse. "Oh my father, now sit on this hot sands of Karbala." Imam Hussein sits on the hot sands of Karbala. "Oh father, can I sit one more time on your lap?" As she is saying, "I have the understanding, oh my father, in a few moments, in a few hours, you will not be there, and the people, the army of Umar ibn Sa'ad will be smacking on my face. They will be running, they will be snatching earrings from my ears." Imam bid farewell with her. And it is said that after the martyrdom of Imam Sayyid al-Shuhada, when the horse of Imam returned back to the camps, this horse was circumambulating the tent of this girl. She comes out, and in that innocence, she asks a question that really breaks the hearts. How mindful she is of her father's thirst. Says, "Ya Jawad Abi, oh the horse of my father." As she wants to say that I'm not going to ask you if my father was alive. How did they kill my father? Why you did come out? Where did you come back without my father? She has one question. Hal suqiya abi am qutila atshana? Did they offer water to my father, or did they kill him thirsty? That young girl in the dungeons of Sham, one more time, had a dream. The difficulties of Kufa and Sham, all of you are well aware, these ayyam of Arbaeen, they really break our hearts. In a night she sees her father around her, wakes up from her dream, started crying. "Oh Aunt Zainab, I have seen my father. He said, I have come to take you with me." "Oh father, where are you?" "Oh brother Sayyid Sajjad, I have seen my father." As she was saying this, there was a commotion. All of the women folk woke up, everyone started crying. The commotions, the noise went to the court of Yazid. Yazid asked, "Who is disturbing my dream? Who is disturbing my sleep?" And it is said that young girl had a dream, and she's saying she has seen Imam al-Hussein. Says, "Take this head of Hussein. Maybe that would put her on peace." A head with a covering is brought to the dungeons, And this young girl who is saying that I have seen Hussein who has come to take me, when she was offered with a tray, she says that I don't want to eat anything. I am not hungry, I want to see my father. And they removed the covering from that tray, looks at the head of her father. May Allah not show that kind of a scene to any girl, to any human being. Looks at the head of her father in the wilderness, looks at the wounds on the cheeks of Imam al-Hussein, looks at the dried veins of her father by saying, "Oh my father, who dyed your beard with your own blood, oh my father, what has happened to you? Why your veins are dry?" And then she says, "Oh my father, you have left me alone. By who is going to take care of me?" And then she says, "Who made me yatim and orphan at this young age?" And in a while, she departs from this world. That is the memory of Imam Hussein, left in the dungeons of Sham. This Arbaeen reminds us of that tragedy. May Allah give us the intercession of Imam Sayyid al-Shuhada in this world. Allahumma arzuqna shafa'at al-Husayn yawm al-burud wa thabbitna قدم صدق عندك مع الحسين وأصحاب الحسين الذين بذلوا مهجهم دون الحسين عليه السلام صلوات. Brothers and sisters, as today is the final discussion of the series of 5 Majalis, and the major theme was to seek some heed from the companions of Imam Hussein, especially the one who is known as al-Masaib, the mother of atrocities, Sharikatul Hussein, the partner of Imam Hussein, while having a survey of her strategy, how she fulfilled her mission. So the earlier part of every night's discussion was to analyze and to speak about the circumstances in which this caravan was fulfilling that responsibility and the strategy which they adopted to fulfill that mission. Today, just recapitulating all the talks, one final word which I wanted to mention in regards to the dealing of this noble, this brave lady, this heroine, encountering with Yazid. The verse which I have recited is from Surah Ali Imran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that verse says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَلَا يَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَنَّمَا نُمْلِي لَهُمْ خَيْرٌ لِأَنفُسِهِمْ إِنَّمَا نُمْلِي لَهُمْ لِيَزْدَادُوا إِثْمًا وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ مُهِينٌ. The rough translation, paraphrasing of the translation is, the people who are faithless, who are kuffar, وَلَا يَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, the people who have rejected and denied the message of Allah, must not guess or think, أَنَّمَا نُمْلِي لَهُمْ خَيْرٌ, if we have given them some time, it is due to their good deeds. إِنَّمَا نُمْلِي لَهُمْ لِيَزْدَادُوا إِثْمًا, in fact, we have given them this muhla, this time, this more opportunity to commit more sins, because Allah has prepared a severe torment for them. This ayah was quoted in the court of Yazid by Sayyida Zainab when Yazid wanted to take the benefit of the situation in which he kept these captives in an utmost disgrace in his view. And we can see the manifestation of perseverance from these captives and display of power and display of arrogance from Yazid's actions. He started his conversation by reciting another verse of Surah Ali Imran. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul Allahumma Malik al-Mulki tu'ti al-mulka man tasha wa tanzi'u al-mulka mimman tasha wa tu'izzu man tasha wa tudhillu man tasha biyadika al-khayr. By calling upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, showing his face as a Muslim caliph to the people of Sham by saying, Qul Allahumma Malik al-Mulk, the one who has all sovereignty, who has the dominion of this universe in his hand. Tu'til mulka man tasha. He is the one who gives the dominion whosoever he is pleased with. Wa tanzi'ul mulka mimman tasha. And he snatches that dominion away from someone he is not pleased with. Wa tu'izzu man tasha. And he is the one who gives grace and honor and dignity. Wa tudhillu man tasha. And he is the one who dishonors, who disgraces, who takes this dignity away from someone he wishes to. Verse is very correct. It's a very true verse. And in fact, if we were to analyze this verse carefully, this verse is the manifestation of the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our faith in our Creator. This is one of the best verses which can make our tawheed and understanding of monotheism intact and strengthened, because we know no matter we bow down in front of someone or not, no one can give us grace but Allah, and no one can give us disgrace but Allah. So if we are steadfast on the path of Allah, if we are holding those divine values in our lives and we are acting upon the teachings of Islam, no matter people try to ridicule us, they would call us the names. Oh, look at that sister, that woman. In 2023, she is observing hijab. Oh, she is old school, she is old fashioned. Look at this man, he still offers his prayer on time. He's old school, he's not cool, he's not smart. He does not want to hang around us. He does not want to go to clubs or wherever there is a gathering of the sinning. So they want to disgrace. And sometimes due to the temptation of shaitan, we feel lonely. We feel affected by those comments of the people. This verse is very helpful in that regard. Recite this verse. It will give you strength. وَتُعِزُّ مَن تَشَاءُ وَتُذِلُّ مَن تَشَاءُ بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرُ. Oh Allah, this disgrace which I am having because of the practicing upon your command, I do not see this as a disgrace. It's an utmost grace by you. If we see Allah in all of our actions, that is the practice upon the teachings of Ahlul Bayt and the practical example of Sayyidah Zainab, the first night I mentioned, وَمَا رَأَيْتُ إِلَّا جَمِيلًا. Because we see Allah in all of our affairs, we become so pure, we become so connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People would ask Amirul Mu'mineen sometimes, Ya Ali, have you ever seen Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The words of hadith, they go by this. Ya Ali, أَفَرَأَيْتَ رَبَّكَ. Have you seen your Lord? Look at the answer of Amirul Mu'mineen. He is none other than the holder of that status of a divine knowledge. He would say that علمني رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم by saying that if you want to see my excellence, my virtues, you see that, remember, I have pride and I feel graced because Rasulullah is my teacher. علمني رسول الله الفباب. He has taught me 1,000 chapters of knowledge, and each knowledge had multiple chapters of knowledge as well. So Amirul Mu'mineen, when he was inquired that, Ya Ali, أَفَرَأَيْتَ رَبَّكَ? He answers, أَفَأَعْبُدُ مَا لَا أَرَى? Do you think I worship someone I have not seen? And then says, رَأَيْتُهُ. I have seen him. فَعَرَفْتُهُ. And then I have recognized. He is giving us the hierarchy of understanding of Tawheed, the trajectory of understanding what is pure Tawheed. He says, رَأَيْتُهُ فَعَرَفْتُهُ. I have seen him, therefore I have known him. فَعَبَدْتُهُ. And then I have worshipped him. Now I have become his servant because I have seen him and I have known him. أَفَأَعْبُدُ رَبًّا لَمْ أَرَهُ. Do you think I would worship a Lord which I have not seen? But then he says, do not compare yourself with me. Do not make my understanding superficial. مَا رَأَيْتُ شَيْئًا إِلَّا وَرَأَيْتُ اللَّهَ قَبْلَهُ وَمَعَهُ وَبَعْدَهُ. I do not see anything, but I see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with that, before that and after that. But do not think I see Allah with my physical eyes. I see him with my spiritual eyes, with the eyes of hearts, with the eyes of understanding, with the basira. Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi is giving us this criteria to look at the things with the depth. And when you look at the things with the depth and with that understanding of Tawheed, you will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all around you. With this introduction, let me go back where I have come from, the court of Yazid. Sayyida Zainab is standing. Yazid is reciting that verse and trying to disgrace these family members of Rasulullah by saying, it is Allah who has given me this power. I am sitting on throne and they are kept standing in the chains on the side. This is the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At that moment, Sayyida Zainab recited this very verse which I have recited in the beginning of my speech today. Oh Yazid, Allah says in Quran, the kuffar, the key word here is وَلَا يَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. In very first Majlis I mentioned, and someone came and asked the question about this, that Maulana, you mentioned that the people who were against Imam Sayyidul Shuhada, despite of their prayers, despite of their iman, why they were not Muslims? Answer is here. Sayyida Zainab says, وَلَا يَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَنَّمَا نُمْلِي لَهُمْ خَيْرًا لِأَنفُسِهِمْ. They think, and this is the quality of kuffar, this is the characteristic of kuffar, when they are given a chance to do more sins, they feel that we are given this chance because we are loved by Allah, we are good people, therefore I oppress people and Allah does not hold accountable to me. They have no understanding of the nation's pre-Islamic era, where people, they would go and ask, no, why your Allah is not bringing wrath to us? Why there is no punishment? That means Allah loves us. Until this day and age, we know there are many nations who call themselves monotheistic nations and they oppress other people. They have all kinds of oppression by saying that we are the chosen one. And look, since we are ruling, we are controlling the economy, we are controlling the media, we are controlling the people, that means we are liked by the God and we have right to administer the people, we have right to control the people. Sayyida Zainab at that time is reminding us of that verse, that remember, if a non-believer, maybe that non-believer is one who rejects Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or maybe from the tongue that person testifies the God's creation or God's existence, but in reality that person is kafir. وَلَا يَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَنَّمَا نُمْلِي لَهُمْ لِيَزْدَادُوا خَيْرًا لِأَنفُسِهِمْ. No, they should remember, this is to لِيَزْدَادُوا إِثْمًا. It is to give them the chance to increase in their sins. So this is one of the encounters of this noble lady in the court of Yazid. Now, it is needless to say, it might take some more time, and all of you have the understanding of that bravery which Sayyida Zainab is possessing, a woman, which we usually look at a feeble, a weak creation. Sayyida Zainab is saying, no, if you have that divine bravery, and if you stand up for the Islam, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the divine values, no one can oppress you, no one can weaken you, no one can exploit you. In that court she is standing and unmasking the face of Yazid. You know, Yazid has that covering of his father. One major difference in the strategy of the father of Yazid, the ruler of Sham, and Yazid was, father of Yazid would disguise his belief and would not let people know that he's against Islam. But Yazid very clearly, openly sits on the mimbar and consumes alcoholic beverages. Now Sayyidah Zainab has this responsibility to unmask, unveil the face of that person regarding whom Imam Sayyidul Shuhada has already testified. Yazidun rajulun sharibul khamr fasiqun wa mu'linun bil fisq wa qatilun nafsul muhtarama. Sayyidah Zainab is saying, this is the proof. Now you are seeing that he is portraying himself as the representative of the Prophet. No, he's not a Muslim. The acts which he is committing is not Islam. If you want to see who are the Muslims, and this conversation continues, and all of you might have heard that conversation and sermon of Sayyidah Sajjad and Sayyidah Zainab in the court of Yazid. In the end, when the call of Azan comes in, because Yazid had no other choice, because there was a turmoil in the court of Yazid, and people would ask, are they saying right? They are in chains, they are so weak, and if they are not right, why? You are not stopping them. They are weak and you're sitting on the throne, and on your face they are saying that you have oppressed them and you have no connection with Islam, and they are the one who are the descendants of the Prophet. Yazid says, say Azan, say Azan. And Muazzin says Azan. And Sayyidina Sajjad, when our Muazzin reaches to the point, Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah, says, O Muazzin, stop here. And then he says, oh Yazid, this Muhammad Mustafa, whose name is taken in Azan and Muslims are testifying him as a prophet, tell me, was he your grandfather or was he my grandfather? If you say that he is your grandfather, then you are a liar and you are a kafir. And if you are saying he's my grandfather, then tell me why I am in chains. The way of arguing with rationality, taking the best advantage of the environment, as you are among the worst enemies with the power and might. And the commotion was to that extent that Yazid had no other option but to release them. Therefore, the entire discussion comes here. Arbaeen in one way is the announcement of the victory of Imam Sayyidul Shuhada, Aba Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salatu wasalam. Sayyidah Zainab, Sayyidah Sajjad, they are proving through Quran in that court. And you can imagine fear. Don't think while sitting in comfort that it was so easy that she stood up. No, my brothers and sisters. Imagine for a moment, Roman ambassador is sitting in that gathering of 700 people, and when he realized, he said, oh Yazid, are you keeping these people as captives and they are the family members of your own prophet? Look at the bravery of that person. He's not a Muslim, and usually, even in this day and age, a diplomat would have the amnesty. But look at the treacherous nature of Yazid. When he saw that people are objecting, and then he said, oh Yazid, is he saying right that you have killed the son of your own prophet's daughter? You are a bad person. And this objection resulted in his own murder in the court of Yazid. In that environment, they are speaking the truth. Therefore, brothers and sisters, this Arbaeen, the freedom given to Ahlul Bayt, is the greatest announcement of that victory of the message of Imam Sayyidul Shuhada. It is the manifestation of that promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that until the day of the judgment, the system of haqq will ever stay for the people to know the values. Imam Sayyidul Shuhada is setting up the standards. There was no haqq before him after the demise of Amirul Mu'mineen, after the martyrdom of Amirul Mu'mineen, the way Banu Umayyah manipulated and wanted to take the Islam in a direction. And until this day and age, we see that many power mongers, they try to manipulate with Islam, but still everyone knows about Imam Sayyidul Shuhada. And therefore, a very beautiful poem in Urdu, it says, Islam, Qatle Hussain, Asl mein marge Yazid hai. Islam zinda hota hai har Karbala ke baad. The actual annihilation of Yazid was the martyrdom of Imam Hussain. The moment Yazid thought that he has annihilated the Islam by murdering Imam Hussain, this poet says, actually that was the annihilation of Yazid and the falsehood in Islam. Imam Hussain has set the standards of the truth, has set the standard of Islam until this day and age. So now the message of Islam has gone beyond the boundaries. Arbaeen, millions of people, you all have seen, Christian, Jew, atheist, Hindu, anyone you see, you name it, is there. Why? Because Hussein has given us the message of freedom, humanity, liberty, freedom. He has taught us how to be successful without oppressing anyone. Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Gibbs, you name it. Anyone who learns about Islam, about Imam Sayyidul Shuhada in Islam, through Imam Sayyidul Shuhada, would say, and that again, another very beautiful couplet, Islam ko insaan ko bedar to ho lene do, har qaum pukaregi, Allahu Akbar. Salwa. Labbaik ya Hussein. Let human being be awakened, and all will say Hussein belongs to us, because Hussein stood up for divine values. Hussein stood up for human values. Hussein stood up for liberty of human being. He would say again and again, Kunu ahraran. You need to stay free. Release yourself from the shackles of your own desires, your low desires. Be a free man. Go towards Allah. Go towards divinity. Why you are making yourself limited to this world? Because again, what I have said through the words of Amirul Mu'mineen, because we try to look at this world and the reality through our physical eyes. Our eyes are limited to this world. Therefore, we have make ourselves limited to what? To wealth, to possessions, to houses, to degrees, to titles, to worldly positions. Amirul Mu'mineen says, it's another beautiful word of Amirul Mu'mineen. And you know, sometimes we say that, Ya Ali, we are your Shias. And if someone asks me, tell me 10 sayings of Imam Ali, I'm unable to quote. What kind of Shia I am? I need to follow. Shia means someone who follows the footsteps. Mushaya. And I don't know anything. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens the insight of the people who really, out of sincerity, they want to try to learn about the divine truth. Anne-Marie Schimmel, she passed away a few years ago, a German philosopher. Many of you might have heard about her. She lived for a while in Lahore as well. Now, if you go to Bonn, Germany, and look at her grave, there's an epitaph, the stone of her grave. You know what it is written on that? An-nasu niyamun, in Arabic and in German. An-nasu niyamun, idha matu fantabahu. One statement, very simple. But if you were to contemplate on this statement, you need lives to think about that. An-nasu, the entire humanity, niyamun, they are sleeping. Idha matu intabahu. Every human being is sleeping, and the moment they die, they will be alerted. Death is not the name of forgetfulness. Think about that. Amirul Mu'mineen says, you need to open your eyes of your heart and basira to look at the reality. Don't look at this world with these eyes. Open the eyes of your hearts, which will show you the truth, which will show you the reality. Go beyond that and do not make yourself low. You are Khalifatullah. I cannot be a Khalifatullah if I am engaged in worldly actions and I am so limited to my own problems and troubles, and I don't know anything about other people, the communal issues, my own personal desires. All that tells me that I need to wake myself up. An-nasu niyamun, we are sleeping, we need to wake ourselves up. What is the reality? You know, sometimes we see, and we see a lot in this society sometimes, our youth, this even more than the older in their households, in their universities and in their colleges. What some folks they would do in the society, in their universities, they get drunk and they feel everything is going good. The life is very good. So intoxication. No, my brothers and sisters, we are connected to Amirul Mu'mineen. He says, wake yourself up. Instead of putting yourself at a sleep, let alone the intoxication or all other kinds of things which will put you in a sleep. No, he's saying, wake yourself up. This world in which you are living, you wake up early in the morning and you go to earn the money, and you come back and you are thinking about money, and your kids are going to school, they are thinking about money. Everything is around the world and no divinity. And then we say we are Muslimin. Amirul Mu'minin says, no, wake yourself up. It's something which an animal would do. Earning good halal sources is very good, but we need to have that insight that for what we are earning, what is our goal and purpose. So many of the times we see in the society, the children are lost because we are in our own brains and in our own minds, we are intoxicated. Amirul Mu'minin again says, you are sleeping. Maybe I'm not sleeping, but he says, An-nasu niyam, you are sleeping, you are asleep because you are not mindful of your responsibility of your children. The curriculum, the school, the environment, the education, the akhlaq. I have sent them in the best schools. I have purchased the house in best of the school districts. That takes care of my responsibility. They go 8 a.m. with the bus, they come back 4 p.m. and I come back 6 o'clock. We sit 10 minutes together and I'm raising them well. Yes, on Sundays I send them to the school. No, my brother and sister. The attack which they are receiving from the society for that 6-7 hours of instruction, social media, and so alluring it is, as Amirul Mu'minin says, An-nasu niyam, that puts us on a sleep, that I don't want to wake up us and I don't want to be engaged in that, what challenges they have. Nowadays especially, brothers and sisters, we need to be careful about all those gender issues, about all those identity issues, whatever is going through the curriculum and in the society. We need to be engaged with our children. One way of awakening is that we need to awaken ourselves and we need to awaken our children as well. The best method, the best strategy in this day and age is to receive this message of Imam Sayyidul Shuhada through its authentic sources. Because Imam Sayyidul Shuhada, Aba Abdullah al-Husayn salawatullahi wasalam, I must confess I have made a big mistake. I did not notice at what time I started. So if I take too much of your time, please forgive me. Inshallah, sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ali. Because as I promised that I will have a transition in Urdu as well. But inshallah, I hope you will be generous enough to forgive me if I take some more time than I am allotted, because it's Arbaeen as well. And I really wanted to echo back that hadith as well, in which our 11th Holy Imam, Imam Hassan al-Askari salawatullahi wa salamu, has spoken about the alamatul mu'min, and inshallah among those we are going to practice. यानी मोमिन की अलामात में से 5 अलामतें बताई हैं. अच्छा, इसमें अगर हम इसकी दर्जा बंदी करें, तबका बंदी करें, if we were to classify all these signs of a believer, we see there are 2 major categories. 2 बड़ी तबका बंदी हैं, किस्मात हैं, किस्में हैं, जिनमें से एक नमाज के महवर पे घूमती है. यानी क्या अलामतें बताई कि सलात 51, at-ta'फीर ala al-jabin. I'm not going in chronological order, just to relate them in 2 groups. कि मोमिन वो है कि जो 24 घंटे में हर रोज में 51 रकत नमाज पढ़ता. अच्छा चलिए बिस्मिल्लाह, बेहतर इंशाल्लाह. So there are 5 signs of the believer, and we can categorize them, we can classify them in 2 categories. One is related to salat. As-salat 51, 51 rak'at on daily basis. At-ta'firu ala al-jabin, whenever a believer goes in the prostration, perform prostration while putting his forehead on dirt, on clay. Al-jahru bi bismillahir rahmanir rahim, whenever a person performs salat, and that is a jurisprudential dimension of salat as well, recites bismillah out loud. And there are 2 other which are related to Imam Sayyidul Shuhada and the Vilayat of Amirul Mu'minin. What are those 2 other? The first one is Ziyaratul Arbaeen, that inshallah may Allah give us this opportunity to go and visit Karbala and do the ziyarat of Imam Sayyidul Shuhada. But inshallah we are going to perform that from distance, and may Allah accept from us as the sign of a believer. But the other one is At-Takhattum Bil-Yameen. So at-takhattum bil-yameen, that a mu'min or a believer wears a ring in the right hand. So when we speak about all those 3, in the first category, we see the salat is in the central place. And since Our theme was sabr. One verse which I quickly want to quote from Salat is from Quran regarding Salat is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. That if you want to help and assistance in your life, take assistance from Salat and Sabr. So Salat is something in qubilat, qubila ma siwaha. When ruddat, rudda ma siwaha. If Salat is accepted, rest of the actions will follow. And if Salat is rejected, Allah will not look at any of the deeds and actions. My young brothers and sisters, be mindful. Whatever has happened, do not miss your Salat. Try to perform it on the time, because we, being the follower of Ahlul Bayt, we know 6th Imam at his deathbed says, La tanalu shafa'ati man istakhaffa as-salat. That our shafa'a, our intercession would not be extended to someone who is lazy, who does not give the due importance to Salat. And then when we speak about Salat, we look at the Salat of Ahlul Bayt, we look at the Salat of Sayyid al-Shuhada. So the second group, when we speak about Ziyaratul Arbaeen, we know that this is one of the a'mal which is highly recommended to offer in the life of a believer. So we have Thursday nights, we have Ghadir, we have, for instance, Eid Mubahala, we have, for instance, Eid al-Adha, we have Eid al-Fitr. So all those have that kind of thing. But when we talk about At-Takhattum bil-Yamin, the interesting fact is nowadays, if you look at the research by many people, they would speak about the characteristics of some of these stones, gemstone. You know, it's a growing industry now. And some people, they have, a book is written, the Bible of Gemstones, for instance. You will see the effects of those stones on the human body. And Islam is speaking about what is the true wisdom behind that, I do not know. But interesting fact is, the one which is in our hands all the times. I was just looking at the hadith. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala offered the Vilayat Amirul Mu'mineen to all the creatures. So all the creatures, they received that message to pledge their allegiance to the Vilayat of Ali. And among the rocks, among the stones, Aqiq was the stone who accepted the Vilayat of Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. That Vilayat of Amirul Mu'mineen, if a stone accepts that, that normal stone becomes a jewel for the believers. So this is the way how Ahlul Bayt, they have taught us to preserve our identity as well. How do we recognize sometimes the believers? At-Takhattum bil-Yamin. So we recognize each other. And this is the same message which was taken by Ahlul Bayt in Kufa and Sham. And as I just have mentioned, one last final point which I would like to quote, and then we'll move to the musibah, that someone asked Imam Sayyid Sajjad, who was victorious? How would you define the victory in this whole episode of Karbala? And Imam Sayyid Sajjad paused for a moment and he said, wait for Azan. Listen, how Sayyid Sajjad is giving us the criteria to know who is the warrior, who is the winner of this episode of Karbala. And when Azan is said, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. As Imam is saying, it was the mission of Banu Umayyah to erase, to wipe out the name of the Prophet from Azan. Karbala was not to safeguard their dignity, no. In fact, they gave their dignity, they gave their life to protect the Tawheed of Allah and the prophethood of Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. So brothers and sisters, we know the other standard of the victory, as I mentioned last night, due to this commotion when people, they are turning themselves away after listening to these sermons of Sayyidah Zainab, after seeing them in chains and shackles. Yazid calls upon Sayyidah Sajjad, we want to free you. Who posed these stipulations? You answer me in this world. If there is a quarrel, dispute, a discussion between two people, who is more powerful? The one who poses the stipulations. Sayyidah Sajjad says, we have conditions, we have stipulations. You need to fulfill. We will be released out of your dungeons on our own conditions. Tell us your conditions. And Sayyidah Sajjad is honoring someone عالمہ غیر معلمہ فاہمہ غیر مفہمہ. The one who had a favor upon imamat. So the wishes were given. Sayyidah Zainab conducted that remembrance of Imam al-Hussein in Sham. وہی شام جہاں پر اہل بیت کو رسوا کر کے لایا جا رہا ہے، اب وہی شام ہے کہ جہاں پر سیدہ زینب مجلس پڑھ رہی ہیں اور شامی عورتیں رو رہی ہیں. اجرکم اللہ. ہاں عزیزو، اربعین کا دن تصور کر لینے کے لیے کافی ہے. اب علماء نے یہ روایتیں لکھی کہ یہ قافلہ اربعین کے موقع پہ کچھ پہلے یا بعد، بہرحال یہ قافلہ کربلا پہنچا ہے، چاہے پہلے ہو یا بعد ہو. اب تصور کیجئے اگر یہ قافلہ آ رہا ہے اور اس قافلے کو جب امانتیں دی گئی ہیں نا، ان امانتوں میں سر شہداء بھی ہیں. ذرا سوچئے گا، ایک دفعہ تصور کیجئے گا اس ماں کا کہ جس کے ہاتھ میں علی اصغر جیسے ننھے کا سر ہو اور جس کا دل اپنی بیٹی کی صورت میں دربار شام میں ہو. کس طرح سے وہ بی بی کربلا آ رہی ہوگی، کس طرح سے جناب زینب اپنے اون و محمد کے سروں کو لا رہی ہوں گی، کس طرح سے جناب عباس آ رہے ہوں گے. دوسری طرف دیگر روایتوں سے یہ بھی ہمیں پتہ چلتا ہے نا کہ اللہ کے رسول کا وہ صحابی جس کی بینائی اپنے ضعف سن کی وجہ سے کم ہو چکی ہے، وہ بھی کربلا میں پہنچ گیا ہے. اور جب کربلا میں پہنچا ہے نا تو اپنے غلام عطیہ کو کہتا ہے، عطیہ مجھے ذرا نہر کے کنارے لے جاؤ، میں اپنے آپ کو غسل دینا چاہتا ہوں. غسل کیا اور اس کے بعد علماء یہ پڑھتے ہیں نا کہ قبر حسین پر آ گئے. میں ایک سوال پوچھنا چاہتا ہوں، کیسے عطیہ نے بتایا ہوگا، کیسے جابر کو پتہ چلا ہوگا کہ اس صحرا میں امام حسین کی قبر کون سی ہے؟ وہاں پر یقیناً خاک میں کچھ قبریں مٹی ہوں گی، کچھ بنی ہوں گی. عزیزو، علماء یہ جملہ پڑھتے ہیں کہ جب جابر ان قبروں کے درمیان میں پہنچے نا تو ایک دفعہ آواز دی، اے میرے بچپن کے دوست حسین، مجھے آواز تو دو. اور جیسے ایک جانب سے آواز آئی نا تو جابر نے اپنے آپ کو اس قبر پہ گرا دیا، جیسے اپنے آپ کو باہوں میں لے لیا. اب جابر اپنے حبیب سے گفتگو کر رہے ہیں کہ اسی اثناء میں عطیہ کہتا ہے، ایسے محسوس ہوتا ہے جیسے شام کی جانب سے کچھ لوگ آ رہے ہیں. جابر نے کہا مجھے تو نظر نہیں آتا. اچھا ہم ایسا کرتے ہیں، کسی نشیب کی طرف چھپ جاتے ہیں، ذرا مجھے بتانا تو صحیح وہ لوگ کیسے ہیں. عطیہ آگے گیا، واپس آ کر بتاتا ہے کہ مالک کاروان اس طرح سے آ رہا ہے کہ اونٹ ہیں، اونٹوں پہ کچھ اماریاں ہیں، اماریوں پہ سیاہ پردے ڈالے گئے ہیں، شیون و آہوزاری کی آوازیں آ رہی ہیں، اور ہاں دو مرد اس کاروان کے آگے آگے چل رہے ہیں. جابر نے کہا ایسا محسوس ہوتا ہے میرے آقا کا لٹا کارواں آ گیا. ہاں عزیزو، اجرکم اللہ، اربعین کا دن ہے نا، کوشش کرتے ہیں کہ کچھ آنسو آنکھوں میں آ جائیں تاکہ یہ ہماری نجات کا باعث بن جائیں. ہاں عزیزو، اس بی بی کا تصور کیجئے گا، ہم 1400 سال بعد امام حسین کی مصیبت سنتے ہیں، ہماری آنکھوں سے اشک رواں ہو جاتے ہیں. اس بہن کی مصیبت کا سوچئے کہ جو اپنے سامنے امام حسین کو، جیسے بعض مورخین پڑھتے ہیں نا کہ 70 قدم پہ تلہ زینبیہ پہ جناب زینب بیٹھی ہیں اور سامنے کیا منظر ہے، الشمر جالسا علی صدر الحسین، شمر اس سینہ مبارک پر بیٹھا ہے کہ جس سینہ مبارک پہ اللہ کے رسول بوسے دیتے ہیں. اور جب امام حسین نے ایک دفعہ اپنے قاتل سے کہا تھا نا ذرا اپنے چہرے سے نقاب تو ہٹانا، جب شمر نے اپنے چہرے سے نقاب ہٹایا تو دیکھا کہ برس زدہ چہرہ تھا. کہا میرے نانا نے سچ کہا، حسین تجھے مبروس قتل کرے گا. ایسے میں ایک دفعہ شمر نے غصے سے امام حسین کو پلٹ دیا. امام حسین نے خاک کربلا کو اکٹھا کیا، پیشانی کو خاک پہ رکھا، لا معبود کا سواک. شمر نے ہاتھ میں کند خنجر لیا، حسین کو ذبح نہیں کیا بلکہ 13 وار کر کے آسمان و زمین میں آندیاں چلی. الا قد قتل الحسین، الا قد ذبح الحسین. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. ماتم حسین.
Hussein.
سب مل کے پڑھیں, سب مل کے پڑھیں پلیز.
Ya Hussein. 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 Ya Hussein.
شہروں کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں سادات کربلا سادات کربلا چہلم کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں سادات کربلا سادات کربلا ہر بی بی کر رہی تھی کچھ اس طرح سے گریا سادات کربلا سادات کربلا چہلم کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں سادات کربلا سادات کربلا کچھ بیبیاں یہاں ہیں کچھ بیبیاں وہاں کرتے ہوئے فغاں کرتے ہوئے فغاں بکھری ہوئی ہے مقتل سرور میں جا بجا سادات کربلا سادات کربلا چہلم کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں سادات کربلا سادات کربلا ایک بی بی دشت خونی میں جاتی ہے نہر پر کہتی بچشم تر کہتی بچشم تر عباس دینے آئی ہوں پرسا سکینہ کا سادات کربلا سادات کربلا چہلم کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں سادات کربلا سادات کربلا گھٹ گھٹ کے لاڈلی تیری زندہ میں مر گئی تربات وہیں بنی تربات وہیں بنی بھیا وہ قید سے نہ ہوئی مر کے بھی جدا سادات کربلا سادات کربلا چہلم کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں سادات کربلا سادات کربلا اکبر کی قبر پہ یوں ہوئی لیلا نوحگر دیکھا نہ سال بھر دیکھا نہ سال بھر آئی ہوں قید شام سے اب ہو کہ میں رہا سادات کربلا سادات کربلا چہلم کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں سادات کربلا سادات کربلا بانوں یہ بیند کرتی تھی اے میرے بے زباں ماں ڈھونڈے اب کہاں ماں ڈھونڈے اب کہاں بتلا دے ہے کہاں میرا اصغر اے کربلا سادات کربلا چہلم کو کربلا میں جب آئیں وہ بیبیاں سادات کربلا سادات کربلا
یا حسین 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 حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین حسین یا حسین والے ہمیں در سے رضا دیتے ہیں کربلا 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 والے ہمیں در سے رضا دیتے ہیں تیر پر تیر بکھا کر یہ دعا دیتے ہیں تیر پر تیر بکھا کر یہ دعا دیتے ہیں کربلا والے ہمیں در سے رضا دیتے ہیں کربلا والے ہمیں در سے رضا دیتے ہیں قید وہ قید کے سونے بھی نہ پائے آبے قید وہ قید کے سونے بھی نہ پائے آبے سو بھی جاتے ہیں تو زنجیر ہلا دیتے ہیں کربلا جاتے ہیں تو زنجیر ہلا دیتے ہیں کربلا والے ہمیں در سے رضا دیتے ہیں کربلا والے ہمیں در سے رضا دیتے ہیں اب نہ مانگیں گے کبھی پانی چچا لوٹاؤ اب نہ مانگیں گے کبھی پانی چچا لوٹاؤ سوکھے ہونٹوں سے یہ معصوم صدا دیتے ہیں سوکھے ہونٹوں سے یہ معصوم صدا دیتے ہیں کربلا والے ہمیں در سے رضا دیتے ہیں کربلا والے ہمیں در سے رضا دیتے ہیں ناب کے ظلم کہا ننھا سا اصغر کا گلا ناب کے ظلم کہا ننھا سا اصغر کا گلا کہیں معصوم کو ایسی بھی سزا دیتے ہیں کہیں معصوم کو ایسی بھی سزا دیتے ہیں کربلا والے ہمیں در سے رضا دیتے ہیں کربلا والے ہمیں در سے رضا دیتے ہیں راہ معبود میں ہیں ماں کے گھرانے والے، راہ معبود میں ہیں ماں کے گھرانے والے، کچھ نہ باقی رہے تو سر کی رضا دیتے ہیں، کچھ نہ باقی رہے تو سر کی رضا دیتے ہیں، کربلا والے ہمیں در سے 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 رضا دیتے ہیں، تیر پر تیر بکھا کر یہ دعا دیتے ہیں، تیر پر تیر بکھا کر یہ دعا دیتے ہیں، کربلا والے ہمیں در سے رضا دیتے ہیں۔
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد. متوجہ زیارت.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام على ولي الله وحبيبه، السلام على خليل الله ونجيبه، السلام على صفي الله وابن صفيه، السلام على الحسين المظلوم الشهيد، السلام على أسير الكربات وقتيل العبرات، السلام. اللهم إني أشهد أنه وليك وابن وليك وصفيك وابن صفيك الفائز بكرامتك، أكرمته بالشهادة وحبوته بالسعادة واجتبيته بطيب الولادة وجعلته سيدا من السادة وقائدا من القادة وذائدا من الذادة، وأعطيته مواريث الأنبياء وجعلته حجة على خلقك من الأوصياء، فأعذر في الدعاء ومنه النصح وبذل مهجته فيك ليستنقذ عبادك من الجهالة وحيرة الضلالة، وقد توازر عليه من غرته الدنيا وباع حظه بالأرذل الأدنى، وشرى آخرته بالثمن الأوكس، وتغطرس وتردى في هواه، وأسخطك وأسخط نبيك، وأطاع من عبادك أهل الشقاق والنفاق وحملة الأوزار المستوجبين النار، فجاهدهم فيك صابرا محتسبا حتى سفك في طاعتك دمه واستبيح حريمه. اللهم فلعنهم لعنا وبيلا، وعذبهم عذابا أليما. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن سيد الأوصياء، أشهد أنك أمين الله وابن أمينه، عشت سعيدا ومضيت حميدا، ومت فقيدا مظلوما شهيدا، وأشهد أن الله منجز ما وعدك، ومهلك من خذلك، ومعذب من قتلك، وأشهد أنك وفيت بعهد الله وجاهدت في سبيله حتى أتاك اليقين، فلعن الله من قتلك، ولعن الله من ظلمك، ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. اللهم إني أشهدك أني ولي لمن والاه وعدو لمن عاداه، بأبي أنت وأمي يا ابن رسول الله. أشهد أنك كنت نورا في الأصلاب الشامخة والأرحام المطهرة، لم تنجسك الجاهلية بأنجاسها، ولم تلبسك المدلهمات من ثيابها. وأشهد أنك من دعائم الدين وأركان المسلمين ومعقل المؤمنين. وأشهد أنك الإمام البر التقي الرضي الزكي الهادي المهدي. وأشهد أن الأئمة من ولدك كلمة التقوى وأعلام الهدى والعروة الوثقى والحجة على أهل الدنيا. وأشهد أني بكم مؤمن وبإيابكم موقن بشرائع ديني وخواتيم عملي، وقلبي لقلبكم سلم، وأمري لأمركم متبع، ونصرتي لكم معدة حتى يأذن الله لكم، فمعكم لا مع عدوكم. صلوات الله عليكم وعلى أرواحكم وأجسادكم وشاهدكم وغائبكم وظاهركم وباطنكم. آمين آمين رب العالمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام على الأئمة الهادين المهديين، السلام على جميع أنبياء الله ورسله وملائكته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام على علي أمير المؤمنين. السلام على فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام على الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة أجمعين. السلام على علي بن الحسين زين العابدين. السلام على محمد بن علي باقر علم النبيين. السلام على جعفر بن محمد الصادق. السلام على موسى بن جعفر الكاظم. السلام على علي بن موسى الرضا. السلام على محمد بن علي الجواد. السلام على علي بن محمد الهادي. السلام على الحسن بن علي الزكي العسكري. السلام على الحجة بن الحسن القائم المهدي، عجل الله تعالى فرجه وسهل الله مخرجه وظهوره، وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره والمستشهدين بين يديه. السلام عليكم جميعا أهل بيت النبوة ورحمة الله وبركاته.